What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is Agree to Disagree and Rivals, Eagles Postgame show. Time to roast.
What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
What
the hell was that?
Oh, yeah! What the f*** are you talking about?
Welcome in, everybody. This is Agree to Disagree and Rivals, Eagles Postgame show. And we were brought to you by our doc, make them yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. We got Luke, Jordan, Sweeps. I'm Tom. Maybe Wilson joins us. Maybe he doesn't. But it's time to roast. Time to roast it up. We'll do Crumb of the Week at the end of the show. We'll give you our players of the game. Probably not from the Eagles standpoint. And this is the Eagles Seahawks postgame show. And that's going to tie right into our poll question. We're just going to get right into it. Time to dabble. Time to dabble. And that's brought to you by Royal Billiard, the premier game room store in the Delaware Valley. They're stocked with the very best in pool tables, accessories. Listen, they got great stuff. Go check them out. This might be the most. No, I'm not going to be unprofessional. You know what? I'm not going to let them let me be unprofessional, right, with the reads. You know what I mean? I'm not going to let them do that to me. I'm not going to do it to me. Premier game room store in the Delaware Valley is Royal Billiard. They're very stocked with the best in pool tables, accessories, shuffleboards, card tables, dart supplies, bars, bar stools. Turn any ordinary room into an extraordinary gaming experience. Oh, did we mention they have hot tubs too? Stop by Royal Billiard, 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmar, PA, or visit on their web, royalbilliard.com. Go for a tub right now. Go for a tub right now. To our poll, Jalen Hurts is the main reason for the Eagles' struggles. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcast, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Listen, this is not what I want to do tonight. You guys understand this? This is not what I want to do tonight. Said a lot of great things about him since draft night. I don't want to. Somebody comments sick in here, miss me. Then don't play. You understand? Then don't play. If anybody in the comments, I haven't looked at him yet. They don't want to get triggered. If anybody in the comments says sick, I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear from you tonight. Okay? He played. At the end of the day, he played. And he turned the ball over two more times. Two more times to add in, was he top 4 in the league in turnovers? That's horrific. That 255. Listen, he absolutely is the main reason for our struggles. Come on. It goes as your quarterback. You're talking about a guy with 148 yards tonight in an NFL game in a league where they want you to throw? A league where they want you to throw. You saw DeVonta Smith just one time. Just one time we saw a replay. Bang. Guy's wide open. Might go to the house. He misses him and takes a deep shot. He's been struggling. He's regressed. I didn't want to say it. I love the kid. I think he's resilient. I think he's a winner. And I hope he figures it out this year. But right now, he has not been good enough all year. And if we're going to keep talking about everybody goddamn else in this city, let's talk about the quarterback, because I've watched a lot of them get ran out of here for less. For less. Okay? So before we start just giving passes around here, let's call it how we see it. And we saw it as a 10-1 football team that lost 3 straight games. And guess who? Guess who's the leader of those games? Turns the football over first drive against Dallas. Turns the football over twice in big spots in this football game. Then you can clinch it. The deep ball to Quest. What are we even doing? What are you even doing throwing that ball? As a quarterback, I can't throw that ball. Even if it's in the play design. Even if it's part of the route trade. Okay? Can't make the throw. Can't do it. Got to check down. Right? You run away. Do whatever. You can't make that throw right there. Unless you lead him that it's him or nobody. It can't be 50-50. That's him or nobody back in the end zone. That's got to be thrown to lead your receiver. You throw him open in this league. God damn it. I'm tired of just the deep shots one-on-one, like on the sides. That's all we throw. We're the intermediate. We're the crosses. Okay? And then when you're running the football, run the football. Because you got to look at it and say, hey, 255 hasn't been good this year. Hasn't been good. So let's lean on something we do really well, which is run the football. No, we want to let him run it 13 times. What are we doing? Why even make guys activated? Run the damn football because your quarterback hasn't been good enough. Rely on it, especially against a team that's not good against the run. We're playing the Bears, the 85 Bears tonight, defensively in the secondary. We can't move the football. And we're going to keep calling play design. We're going to give all this other crap. Okay? Great players, franchise players, make big plays. No matter what the damn design is. You got the greatest freaking scheme in the world. You got to read it and react to it. We hold the football way too damn long. It's been all year. It's hold the football, hold the football, hold the football. This is the end of my rant. Look at all the successful quarterbacks in this league. Are they holding on to the damn ball, waiting for the big play every time? It's not what this league's based on. You got to take what defenses give you. And then you strike. It can't be deep. Now it's going to play two safeties over top, and I'm going to challenge you to throw underneath of me. And we don't do it enough. That's on scheme. You're telling me every guy's going deep. You're telling me, hey, you got four guys out there, all four running flies. No, guys are crossing, guys are doing other things. Don't tell me when to get the ball out quick is bubble screens or whatever our screen game is. The one at DeAndre, nobody was blocking. Yeah, well, that's a great call. That's a great call. Your left tackle is blocking. He's blocking pass protection the whole time. So, I mean, at some point, it's got to fall on the head of your franchise quarterback when your offense has been putrid. When's it going to turn? When's it going to be? Everybody out there, when are you going to finally say, you know what? He hasn't played good enough. And say, you know what? The things that are going around him, play calling, maybe haven't been good enough either. But he's got players. And if you're not producing with those two guys on the outside, holy shit. And this offensive line, it's not good enough, guys. That's not good enough. Not good enough. He was great in the fourth. He won your football game early in the year, throughout the year. He was tough. All right? Not tonight. Not the last three. Can't keep losing football games. That's it. What do you guys say?
I mean, for us tonight, it's one of those. It's got to be. He's got to be mentioned, of course. I mean, that's you'd have an anvil fall on your head to say that that he didn't have a hand in this. He was terrible, right? Whether you're sick or not, he's terrible, right? But at the end of the day, 92 yards by Drew Lock. That's it. That's a defensive look in the mirror game, right? So as much as Jalen was horseshit, and that's his fault, you know what I mean? He has things right. He got paid. He got paid, right? So you got to. That's the crown is heavy. The crown is heavy when you get paid, right? So he knows that, all right? So and he wasn't good enough. So I love your rant, all right? But tonight, 17-13.
Oh yeah, different conversation. Yeah,
17-13. That's air quote good enough. As bad as he was, that's good enough. 92 against a backup quarterback. Can't happen. Can't happen if you're a good football team and you're trying to break a losing streak and you want to make some noise in the playoffs. It just can't happen. Can't happen. Now, with 28 seconds, you get the ball back, right? You get a big run. That's what he does, right? And then another terrible decision. So that's why, it's 50-50. You got to kill the defense for what they did, but they still got enough time to tie that game. There's no reason to throw the deep ball there. There's no. Yeah. Right? That you're 15 yards away. You got one of the best kickers in the league. Whether he makes it or not, you got to give him an opportunity. Come on, man. Right? It's one read Jalen. That's what he does. So as much as Tom wants him to get rid of the football, which I agree with you, he's a one look guy, and then he puts it down, he tucks it and goes. You know what I mean? So there has to be a time when you look there. That's reading defenses. You take a look, not there, then you got to go to somebody else. How many times this year has he missed guys across the middle wide open? Smitty again. Smitty makes a living in the middle of the field wide open at least 5 times a game. And if you're under pressure, I say, hey, no problem. It's the NFL. None of us played NFL quarterback. I understand there's a lot going on, right? But when you're not being pressured, then and you're not seeing the middle of the field, what are you seeing? You go back to Sam Darnold, then you're seeing ghost again. You know what I mean? So it's obviously, tonight is 50, he hadn't been good enough. Tonight, the defense needs to. That's on your defense. That's how you win a football game on defense right there. And that's how they won a Super Bowl 5 years ago, right? They made a play on defense. All right, Thomas had the ball last 5 years ago, right? You got to make, sometime at some point, other people got to step up too. But he was obviously horseshit. He's been, he hasn't been great, and it's something's got to change. You know what I mean? It's something's got to change. Like I said, we got to pass. They won a lot of close games, and when you're winning, when you're winning ugly, I think we've talked about it before on the show. Hey, listen, winning's winning. It's hard to win in this league. So, but
because we were hesitant to give them too much crap, right? Especially on this show, because they were winning, right? And it masks things, right? And now those flaws and the defensive flaws are all saying hello to us, right? Now, I agree. It's tonight. You got to get off the field, right? And can I see a pass rush one time? So a couple things I would love to see that we haven't seen at all this year, right? So that would be nice. I just, I think it's time because the defense got crushed all year. We know what they are, right? It's time to say hello, because this is another problem we're having too. Forget Nick. Nick's the leader of the pack, right? Right? Maybe we'll cool T-shirt I have on tomorrow. Obviously, okay? He's the leader, but my other leader is my quarterback, and the main thing as sure as hell hasn't been the main thing. It's been everything but the main thing.
Yeah, and like I said, the drive before that happens, if you put together a 5-minute drive, so let's just take it away from the defense for a second. As much as they were, that's on them, the 92-yard drive, right? The Eagles had it with 5 minutes to go. Right? You put together, you get a first down or two, that game's over. Seahawks got one timeout. You know what I mean? So that's where the pendulum swings back to the Jalen and the offense. All right, you got to put the nail in the coffin there.
Yeah, no nail tonight.
No.
I'll go. I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna be the one person that disagrees. In no way am I defending the play of the quarterback at all. I want to make that very, very, very clear. Especially when you get paid all the money, you can't be outplayed, or it can't be a discussion when you go up against Drew Lock. I don't give a shit where it's being played, at home, a road, in an open field. It does not matter. Neutral site does not matter. Unacceptable. The reason I'm gonna disagree and say the main reason is for two reasons. One, we're not getting to the quarterback, and two, play calling. And those are the two reasons why this team's not good. And I did something before we got on. I did something. When we were 10-1, we won games where I could walk away and said, yeah, outside of a possession or two, I'm not going to sit up here and say that Jalen Hurts outplayed Mac Jones in week 1. I'm not going to sit up here and say that Jalen Hurts completely outplayed Kirk Cousins in week 2, or we go all the way down and say he completely outplayed Tua all the way in that Dolphins game, or in that Cowboys win. He completely outplayed Dak. Those things are not true, and they still won games. The main difference is that play calling, when situational football and disciplinary football needed to happen, they happen. Those things are no longer the case. Why are those things no longer the case? Because we have somebody calling plays who is not ready to do so. It's been a problem all year long. And the second a team had good film on us in Dallas and in San Francisco, copycat league, now guess what? We do not have an answer for pressure whatsoever.
Why is that?
None.
But why is that, Luke? Why is that?
Well, that's
who
a great
answers
question.
the pressure? Because we have the answer for the pressure up front, so we're scheming it, we're blocking it upright.
Right. But
so what's the other answer though? The other answer is right in front of our face. In terms of that, in terms of answer for pressure is right in front of our face.
I see what you're saying, but I also see a team that refuses. It's a bubble screen every time. Even in the first quarter, I saw that when we were winning the game, there were 3 lofty bubble screens that we ran because they were downs and that he was assuming pressure. That shit hasn't worked all season long, even when we were 10-1. We were getting away with stuff when we were 10-1. And I also look at it. Dallas Goedert, offensive line, DeVonta Smith, A.J. Brown. Every one of these components were in place, and they were completely 100% there. What's the one component that is not here this season? Head coach there. Everything. What's the one component that's not there? Why is our quarterback not looking like he did even when we were 10-1? Why is that? Because our creative play caller, who's now doing it with a backup quarterback in Indianapolis and is about to make the playoffs, doing the same kind of thing, simplifying the game, RPOs. Where the hell is that? I saw one RPO the entire night. And do not give me the fact that you want to protect him and he doesn't want to get hit, because you call it a QB draw once every 3 plays anyway. It's a disgrace. There is no creativity on that side of the ball, and you went immediately to the defensive side of the ball. And I'm going to throw something out here right now, and it's something that It might be a hot take and I might be reaching, but here we go. When Sirianni first got the job, the first criticism that he got was play calling, and he gave it up immediately to Steichen, and we took off ever since. Why hasn't he taken it back? Why? Are you scared? Is that what's going on right now? Because any fan who's watched any game this whole season, even when we were 10-1, we were screaming forever.
Hold on. I'm not going to do this again. This is unfair. We did this with Frank and Doug, and we made Frank out to be the smartest guy in the room, and that's the only reason Carson was like. We did this. We just did this. I can't do it again, Luke. I can't do it again.
They went on to other jobs and won. They didn't go on to other jobs and won. Steichen left, and now he's winning, and with a backup quarterback in a team that couldn't win a damn thing last year, and now they're in a spot to win a division and have a home playoff game with Gardner Minshew under center. I find it really questionable why he hasn't taken it back. Why? This is not working. It hasn't. And even when we've won, our quarterback is not – he didn't look great then either. He didn't. What we said when we were winning was it's been a moment. When you give him the moment, he won. That drive, that play, he won. It was never, wow, look at this great game that Jalen had. It was never that. Never. Now, am I going to write him off and say I don't want him here anymore? Hell no. I still want him here. I still consider him one of the top quarterbacks in the league. And I think if you're calling him not that and you want to trade him, I think you're a prisoner in the moment. And you should really get a grip and watch some other teams play football because there's not many guys better than him anyway. But why the hell isn't he getting play calling back? Why? I don't know. I don't understand it. You did it on the other side of the ball. Why not? It makes no sense. I don't get it.
Maybe he's not good enough. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Nah.
I'll agree to the poll, and just from an outsider's perspective, I mean, his just decision making is horrible, and we saw it tonight, like you guys said, with the 2 turnovers, and we talked about it pre-show. I mean, you have one of, if not the best kicker in the league right now, and you're on the 45-yard line. Why are we throwing the ball 30 yards down the sideline? Better yet, on the sideline. You can throw it in the middle of the field. You got 2 timeouts. Use them. I just don't understand. I also don't understand why he's getting rushed back. I mean, it was up until the game and he got put in. And I'm not using that he's sick as an excuse because he hasn't played all that well. He's averaged 198 yards in the past 5 games against teams like Buffalo, Kansas City, Dallas, 49ers, and then obviously tonight. But if you're telling me he's going to be a top 5 quarterback, he's got to be averaging more than 200 yards a game.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody's talking about trading him either. Right? Like nobody's talking about getting rid of him.
I would hope not.
No, I don't think it's there. I think it's holding him accountable. Yeah, we've given him a free pass. It's been all rainbows and blowjobs early on with Nick and Jalen.
That's what winning does. You know
and we've just been hugging, right? We've been hugging, and this is our first bad period since the first month they were together, right? So this is our first bad period, as a football team. And I would love to say what's the response going to be, but you can't keep saying that every week. Yeah, you know what I mean, that's been used. It's been overused now. So now it's just time's yours, guys.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Same thing as well. We haven't played our best football. Like that. We got tired of that after 6 weeks. You know what I mean? That was ridiculous too. So this at some point, either as a team or individually, you're not good enough, right? And then that also could be the answer too. But I agree with Luke. I understand this is the one sport where coaching is at the top, right? Because of, X's and O's, right? And that doesn't take away from the other sports. We're baseball guys, me and Tom, all right? And there's a lot of strategy goes into that, all right? So don't get it twisted, right? But this is the one sport where it's X's and O's, matchups. You try to exploit weaknesses. I get all that, you know what I mean? But I also find that a little bit of a cop-out. Not by Luke, just by if you're, for 255, you gotta make plays, man. I'm not, don't look to the guy next to you. Don't look, don't look around the shoulder, man. Just look straight ahead, man, and find a way. And that might be a bad take. That might not be accurate, right? But that's the way I look at things. And I know I'm a dinosaur, right? But at some point, you gotta, you gotta find a way maybe to overcome, subpar coaching. That's the way
Yeah, that's how I look
think-
at it too. Like that's how I look at it too. If you're winning and you're fighting through it, then we're talking about the bad coaching as we're going through it, and you're it's a different conversation. But like he's had chances to like put a nail. Like everybody feels better after a win tonight, no matter how it ends up looking, right? But you have a chance to put the game away a couple times to put the game away. You're up 10 in that football game, right? And you never put the football game away. That's the thing. They never put the football game away. And,
so whatever plays you're calling, like it don't matter what play you call, when you're bouncing the ball at the guy's feet, when you throw into double coverage, when you throw deep, when you don't have to, So, that's where that's where the frustration.
That's why he hasn't lost his job. Like that, you know what I mean? That's why, like, whenever like Brian John's gonna get fired, like maybe at times we're not running the football, but like in terms of like they probably go back and watch film and see shit's open, and it just keeps the guy a job around. You know what I mean? If it's good, bad, or indifferent. But those two have been like locked at the hip anyway. You know what I mean? Jalen and Brian. So it's not like Jalen has a problem with Brian. So part of that probably goes into that relationship. He feels like he probably knows what he does best. I don't know if he knows what he does best, but it seems like the offense is like catered to that. But we got a bunch of super chats. Let's read them off. Kyle, he says, still have faith. You guys still have faith in the Eagles coaching staff? Still think we're going to the Super Bowl? We have 0 to lose by firing an offensive coordinator right now. Well, I mean, yeah, now. Well, you already did that defensively. Yeah. You already put a guy in the closet defensively. So, there's nothing stopping you from Nick taking the play calling duties over, which I could very well see happen. Right. I don't know. Not that that's going to change anything either, because we saw how that went.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Like, is that how don't be on the fence. Either make the move one way or another. Like if Desai is going to be the scapegoat, then there's your walking papers. You put him in the booth, like the Gimp in Pulp Fiction. That's fucking stupid. That's just that's it, man. Okay, I wasn't good enough. Is that what you guys are telling me? Okay, I think the players aren't good enough. But if I'm not good enough, then I'll take my ball. I'll leave. But no, let's go. You go up in the press box. We'll let Patricia, who had a lot of success in this league, call plays. Now he is better on defense. Don't get me wrong. He's not a good head coach. But
no, and I thought he did a good job besides the last drive.
Yeah.
He did a good job. I thought. I was actually thinking about coming on and saying, you know what, that was a really good move.
Yeah, against a Drew Lock defense led team. But yes, he did. I mean, you can't control that. I'm just saying he wasn't. He wasn't playing against Mahomes out there. But still, I thought they did. They showed up, for 58 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, pretty much. Retro Boy says, disagree to the poll only because the 92-yard drive was on the D. Yeah, I get that. And then you can go and talk about, stuff being on him earlier on in that game too. So it takes 2 to tango to win and lose in this league, right? It takes 2 to tango for sure. I just put more on 255, especially when your defense holds the 20 per se, right? And you wish they would have just held the 14 where they're at or 13 where they're at, but didn't work out that way. Slayer says, unfortunately, boys, Noah called it on the money, and with Patricia calling the plays tonight instead of decide, this confirms 4 people who really didn't want to admit it, but the problem is on the players. Yeah, it's on the players for sure.
I don't know about that.
Well, when you don't get home up front,
that is exactly the point. Exactly. Now you tell me on paper. I don't know what it is schematically. I'm not a defensive coordinator. I don't get paid to do that. You tell me on paper who has a better defensive line outside of San Francisco and maybe Baltimore than us. And we are the worst third down defense in football. How the hell is that possible? And you go back in 2017 when we won a Super Bowl, and last year, it was never like I would cry all the time. Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills, we would cry all the time. Receivers would smoke them all day long. And linebackers were never a strength of that team either. What happened was when we would get the third down, we would get home. And we're not. That's simple. It's disciplinary football. Little stuff like the Jason Kelsey false start on the what would be touchdown. That's 4 points right there. That's 4 more points right there. How about, going to kick a field goal, or instead you punt the ball at the end of the game. It's tied. We go to overtime instead. It's disciplinary stuff that this team has not dealt with in years, since like the bottom tier Wentz days. We haven't dealt with this stuff in a while, and now we are. And is the defense on paper great? Definitely not. I'm not defending it, but at the same time, we've won with lineups, defensive rotate, like stuff like that. We've won with this before. We have. So it's inexcusable to tell me, well, it's all the play. Like I can't get behind that. I can't. Is it great? Definitely not. Does it need to get better? For sure. But it's definitely not a completely on the players thing, which is why I go back to coaching again.
Isn't it all on the players when your front four never gets home?
No, that's what I mean. So I look at Jalen Carter, and why isn't he playing more? It seems like when he gets a one-on-one, he gets home most of the time. And somehow I'm not comparing to Aaron Donald, I'm not, but somehow the defensive coordinator on the Rams knows every single day that the Rams suit up, the other team saying we cannot let Aaron Donald beat us, and he's going to face a double or triple team every time. And you watch a game and Aaron Donald's one-on-one multiple times throughout a game. Why isn't Jalen Carter getting these opportunities? Why? Like, it makes no sense to me. Why is Fletcher Cox, respect, Eagles legend, Eagle Hall of Famer, great. I'm not hating on Fletcher Cox. Why is he getting more snaps than the defensive rookie of the year, who is the best graded and PFF ranking, whatever the hell you want to call it, best defensive tackle in the league? Well, I think it's a bunch of bullshit, but whatever. Why isn't he getting more snaps than the old guy?
Well, because that's how they do it, right? That's how they've been doing it.
Which is not the problem, but it's a huge problem. It's part of the problem for sure.
It's problem-ish. It's problem-ish, I guess. But I mean, at the end of the day, I got a guy like Hassan Reddick who love to see him get home or pressure. I feel like he gets no pressure, 100%. Right? Yep. So him and Sweat are going to create the party. I mean, him and Sweat got to get home more, because when they get home and they get pressure, everything starts to collapse. Now your middle needs to collapse inside out. It's always great, right? And I think they do a pretty decent job of the middle. But I don't know, teams get the ball out of their hands quick against us. It feels like quarterbacks know not to hold it long. So when you start like game planning for that, and then you don't have the pieces around it to match up, maybe that's where we're at.
Well, and to answer Luke's question, I think when you win, nobody ever makes any changes, So now you're in a 3-game losing streak, and guys never want to ever fully put blame on themselves, right? So they're all fighting for their jobs. Their asses are in the ringer. So you might see some more Jalen Carter and less Cox now when you're losing. But when you're winning, they want that locker room to be strong. They don't want that locker room to be fractured, and rightfully so. You know what I mean? Like, that's a winning culture, So, all right. But when you got some adversity and shit's hitting the fan, then it's like, hey man, time for this old guy to have a seat. You know what I mean? We got some young blood here.
Yeah, for sure. It was written. King says Bradberry lost the game. He's part of it. I don't know why he's left one-on-one anyway, but it's a part of it. But that's a story for another day, I guess, or tonight. Mr. Rudy Poo, another super chat. Jalen and his offense corner can take a damn hike. Oh, he's saying Jalen's going to hit the damn unemployment line and take Bradberry too. So he's everybody's going. Everybody's going. That's fine. That's fine. Get it out tonight. Get it out.
It's just two different. Like I said, they just had those decades where you're used to seeing it around here. Like the young bucks are a lot. They're just pups. You know what I mean? But I'm old as shit. So back in the Buddy Ryan days, which well documented, you can see that. This, and I know they're more talented. I'm not comparing this defense. I'm just saying, like, those guys made plays, like you have to at some point, even with the scheme and even with the coordinators, you have to make plays. If you watch this Eagles defense, like, not this one, even in the last 5 years, that, outside of Dak giving you a gift last week and put it in Jalen Carter's hands, and good job by Jalen Carter, scoop and score, you don't see that around the league. You see it every week. somebody's taking one to the house, somebody's blocking a kick, somebody's doing something, and the Eagles defense never does that. Never does it.
No, like even the tip ball tonight, Noah Fant, doesn't catch it, jumps up his hand, and you're like, that ball felt like it was up there for 5 minutes. Like we're just not coming away with those footballs. And that's another deciding factor on why
no ball hawks.
Yeah, we just haven't been good enough. I mean, all around, right? All around. The main thing is sure as hell hasn't been the main thing. Besides when we were 10-1, it felt like it was the main thing. Now listen, can you make it right? Can you find a way to still make it right and make noise? I mean, I guess, and we'll talk about it on the other side. What's everybody's belief level now? Because it's taken a big punch to the gut and maybe even a haymaker to the grill piece. You know what I mean? I mean, it might have been a little jab to the nose. I don't know. But, something's happened with 3 straight losses. And now you sit at 10-4. It definitely feels quick, right? I mean, it happened quick. We were just, woo. We were coasting, baby. And then all of a sudden, another ship just came in, laid us out. So we got to swim. So are we going to swim it? I don't know. I'm not trying to give a McDermott post-game speech or pre-game speech. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to say, what is this team made of? I don't know. I thought I did. I thought I did leading into Dallas week that you would see that. Because, again, you give the Niners game, you give it to them. You're like, okay, you guys got your Super Bowl. Then you're going to Dallas. I play better there. And that wasn't the response we were looking for. Then you go into this week, and this week's been weird. For a 10-3 football team going in this Monday night, this has been the weirdest week of all time. You know what I mean? You would have thought it was 3-10 going into this week, right? We quietly not move on from a defense coordinator, but play calls have been given up, and Matt Patricia on the sideline that just quietly gets like they pass a note across the desk to you, like what?
Yeah,
like what? That's how this.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I think part of that, in that blender that you're talking about, is because people that know football and aren't just looking at it like homers, know that this team really is, could be 7-7. I'm not saying woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'm saying they really could be a 7-7 team. So that's how they're playing. That's how they look. So that's that's instead of being 10-3, and I know what you're saying, like, hey, let's still in the driver's seat to win the division. Cowboys got a tough schedule. Geno Smith was out tonight, so there should have been, a ton of optimism. I'm not saying there wasn't. Now it's doom and gloom because they lost, but and they're still in the driver's seat to win.
We lost the game you can't lose too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not even like it's your 3rd straight loss. Like that's one thing, right? It's no, you I don't care where you're playing Seattle, right? You can't lose this football game tonight. Like I don't care. And it's inexcusable. It's an inexcusable loss.
Yep.
Am I disagree? This is a loss. You can be like, can the season be? Can you respond to this anymore? Like, or are we going to start seeing more friction? Because it felt like a lot this week. We've heard about some inner friction in this locker room a little bit, which is interesting.
Well, considering who you have left, I hear you. That's what losing does. No, I'm saying that's what losing does, and I'm not saying that they're gimmies. I'm just saying with who you have left, there shouldn't be any fraction and shouldn't be any friction. There should be accountability. And listen, we're horse shit and we got to be better. But if we take care of business, like you're supposed to, and I know it's the NFL, but they should finish 13-4.
It should. Yeah.
I know. And if Tommy Cutlets gets hot, then then you're 12-5.
Could you imagine? I mean, Jordan can.
I wish. I can only imagine.
You would love a cutlet party.
Yeah,
buffet cutlets.
Exactly. No, there's no. I'd be like that. I think I could see God before I see the Giants beat the Eagles this week.
Well, the way Jalen's playing, you got a big shot.
Exactly.
Big shot.
Exactly.
That's a Christmas nighter, right? 4:30 Christmas. Yep, that's
Christmas
a loss.
miracle.
That's a loss for us. We'll write that one in. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And this is what it's come to. I'm nervous about cutlets. Slayer says, how do you guys feel about Slay's decision to get surgery at this time of the year? I'm torn on it. I think it was selfish. Les, I think you know the answer. You know the answer. I mean, he don't care. He makes it clear on his podcast who he cares about. That's him. That's fine. You know what I mean? If you're making plays, I don't give a shit who you care about. I don't. Doesn't matter to me. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, right? I stayed at Holiday Inn, so I don't know.
Sorry, bud. Eagles opened up -11.
We're up there. -11. Who the hell are we to give anybody 11? Okay, you got cutlets, veal parm. I don't give a shit who you're playing against.
We got to score 11.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I don't know if we're even getting there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I do think Slay's getting a little too much heat, and I think that maybe.
Oh my God.
No way.
No. I think his Twitter thing is a joke, and that's in terms of the timing of the surgery. I think he's getting too much heat.
I don't care about the surgery. Yeah.
No. I'm just talking about that. The Twitter thing's a joke. It's a total disgrace. He needs to chill out. But in terms of the surgery, I think he is. Maybe because, people don't think about this because they just want to go at the player. Maybe it's a training staff problem. Like maybe it's something that they just didn't see or notice was a problem until a certain point of this. That stuff. If you're a Sixers fan, you know better. That happens all the time. So, yeah, who knows?
Martian says Byron won the self-scout. The inmates run the building now. The Martian knows how it goes now. Now you let all your players, they run the shots, right? And that's fine. That's fine. Better not miss the coverage, right? Better not get 92 on your ass if you're calling it out there. No, either way.
That's what happened. That's what happened 7 weeks ago when Nick said, "I didn't address the team." We got guys to do that.
Yeah, did you, Nick? Did you address them tonight, Nick? That was my question. Did you address the team tonight, Nick? How are they feeling? How are you feeling?
How's the temperature in that room?
Yeah, any shirts coming out tomorrow? I'm not trying to pile on here. I'm not trying to pile on. But it's all cute if you're winning. The second you're not winning, now all those goddamn flowers, right? They're dying. Because I had a guy here who won. So you better be better. That's all I'm saying. We're going to talk about paths and all this shit like we do as a fan base all the time. There was a guy who won a Super Bowl who's no longer here, who I was a big fan of when he was here. All right. And I got heat for being a big fan of him because he wasn't smart to everybody. All right. Fine. Not telling you he's had the greatest success of all time in Jacksonville, but I believed him as a football coach. I believed him as a motivator. All right. So at the end of the day, we had a guy who just won a Super Bowl. So when you move on from him, not that long after, right, that next guy's held to a standard then. And you're supposed to be able to get back to one and win one too. And you got back to one, and that's great. And that holds weight for only so long. And you come out, you're 10-1. But man, if this keeps spiraling, right? If this is a one and done, it's not good. Doesn't mean he's getting fired. You know what I mean? I'm not saying any of that, right? But that's now we're going south. You don't want to be going south here. Right?
Do you think he gets play calling back for next week? Because I do not see how you could go back to this. I don't understand it.
I think he probably will, right? To your point earlier, too. You would think he would, right? You would think there'd be enough feel in the room to say, I got this. I got this, right?
I hope so.
I don't know if it it might matter.
No, I agree.
Right?
I agree.
It might matter something different. I don't know. Right?
Exactly, yeah. We got to test it. You got to test it. I have
or
to
is it Jalen? Or is it Jalen just not being good enough?
The other thing is,
whatever reason,
Brian Johnson gets a lot of heat from. I'm the first one to give him heat for play calling. He doesn't design the offense. That's Nick Sirianni. He designs the plays. He designs the offense. So if you're giving Brian Johnson a whole bunch of shit to pick from, I think we got to start. How could you not start going at Nick? He only has so many options to pick from.
Bill, he said the same thing last Sunday or Monday too. Right, Bill? That he said Nick said he's teaching the coach staff staying the same. Do you realize that it ain't Nick's decision?
Yeah.
Do you realize that, Bill? Like, as long as we've been doing this shit, Bill, do you realize? Like, knock, knock. Hello? Bill, you there? You there? This is Jets Man City. This is Jets Man City. Why do you think Doug ain't here? The only reason he ain't here is because he didn't say yes. He wanted Press Taylor or whoever else he wanted, and there was about. I think Press Taylor's any good. Right? I'm just making the point. He wanted who he wanted. They wanted who they wanted. Bashing in the heads. Both had big egos. They both won a Super Bowl. Done. Right? That's how it goes. Okay? So what were they looking for? They're looking for somebody to say yes to Howie. Who's going to just say yes to what Howie wants to do? So if Howie goes in and says, hey, Nick, guess what? You said no coach isn't. You're calling the plays this week. Right? So, I mean, that's all it's going to take. And this isn't some conspiracy. This is out in the open. This is factual information. Right? And the other goddamn fact before we go to break is the goddamn owner of this football team needs to stay out of it. All right? Stay out, Jeff. Just collect your millions and billions. Right? Stay out of it. Because you want the deep ball. You want the glitz and glamour. You know what's cute? You know what's hot in the street? You know what's fun? Just scoring points. It doesn't matter how it looks. Right? Score points. If you're a run first team like you were last year, and you get big play actions and the deep ball comes, because you got to bring guys down the box, okay? Then yeah, that's still pretty. Like it doesn't have to be one way. If you're getting like 28, 31 a game, do you care how you're getting it? Does it matter? Like, do you guys need the 50-yard bomb to like make you feel good? Like as a fan base? No, do you need 30? Right? You need 28. Right? You need to score consistently weekly. That's what we did last year. I think we all forget it. Like we're run first. Now you got to bring guys down in the goddamn box. Everybody's scared of the RPO. Everybody's right. Now you got guys making decisions, and then that sets up the crosses. That sets up everything else. It's like it's not a part of our offense anymore.
Yeah, that's what
it's so weird.
That's what I said to you weeks ago. Like, or probably for a while now. Like, when you were talking about 255, and you're right. You're not wrong. I just, my rebuttal is like, who cares? We know quarterbacks. I'm not saying who cares. I'm saying it's a lot of money. So I don't want to poop. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm saying but even guys that hold clipboards get paid. You know what I mean? That position is well compensated. You know what I mean? Not everybody to that tune. Okay. But to your point, it doesn't matter how you score, who cares? All right. If you run the ball 40 times and you're winning football games, who cares? I mean, who cares? Like, do what the guy does best. Dropping back 50 times isn't this guy's strength. I got news for anybody with a pair of eyes. You know what I mean? So, did it look like the first 2 years that he was progressing? Sure. Right. This year, he's digressing. Right? He's going backwards. Right. And he's not reading defenses. He's everything, he's everything he was, he's everything that we thought he was as a passer, and that's just, that's reality. Right. And you might say, hey, that's unfair, or that's stupid. That's fine. Everybody has their own opinion. But I'm not talking about as a playmaker. I'm not talking about as a leader. I'm not talking about as a person. He's an extraordinary at all those things. Right. He's a tremendous human being. Right. He's just not a pocket passer. All right. I'm not saying he has to be. All right. But he just doesn't, that's his Achilles heel. All right. And so you have to, let's find a way, they need to find a way to put him in the right situations. To Luke's point, that's where you circle back full circle to coaching. Find a way, put this dude in positions, to succeed, but he still has to find a way to make plays. You know what I mean? So I'm not letting him off the hook, but they all, they do have to, they got to, whatever they got to do, they got to modify it, do whatever they got to do to just, allow him to do what he does best.
Yeah. And I think we can look back to 2017 and us doing that as an offense, right? You got a quarterback that goes down, different situation, right? But they took an offense they had and they totally changed it, right? They totally changed what they had. on the fly, right? I mean, that's great coaching from Frank Reich, Doug, and that entire staff, right? Change what you got, cater it to Nick, do what Nick does great. Now, I say that, and I would assume Jalen and Brian Johnson freaking know each other forever. So he doesn't know what you do well. Then what do you do well? That's my next question. Then what do you do well?
That's exactly why I think no one's paying enough attention to Sirianni right now. And I'm kind of just realizing this as we're talking this out. I'm not going to lie. But, like, yeah, we're giving a lot of heat on the play calling. But it's been said millions of times. All he's doing is calling plays. That's what Sirianni says. It's my offense. Well, your offense ain't doing shit. So figure it out. And as far as I'm concerned, to all you people, I hate bringing up last year. I'm tired of it because we're not in last year. But at the same time, the one thing that I will forever know is that we currently have the best player on the field in the Super Bowl last year. So I know I can win with the guy. I know I can. So that's for damn sure. So you got to figure out how that was done and how we can win in the future. So I'm not as much as the problem. Yeah, he's playing like shit, and I'm not defending him more so than I'm just saying we have to figure out a way to win with him again because you can. We all know we can. We did. We just got to figure it out. And if the right guys aren't in there to win with him, then bring in the right guys. Or if the right guys aren't calling plays, then make the right guy call play. It's that simple. It really is. Because the same guys are there. Offensive line outside of right guard, receiver, tight end. Everyone's there. Every single person is there. Figure it out. It's really that simple.
Yeah, and like I said, you don't take anything away from him. He was extraordinary to your point. I thought, but I'll go back to the passing aspect. You know what I mean? I thought in that Super Bowl, even though it was successful, I thought more than half of those balls were 50-50 balls, right? That the Eagles guys made plays, AJ Brown, Smitty, they made plays for, on those balls. So that doesn't, I'm not, it doesn't take it away. It doesn't take anything away from, the stats or the performance. All right. But, I don't think you're going to see him ever go down the field and go dime, 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 dime. I don't know. Maybe you will, at some point, but, I just, that I don't see. And it doesn't have to be that kind of quarterback. I know the game has changed. That's, the quarterback from when I was growing up. So I understand. I understand that's, that's going by the wayside. I get it. But you still got to be able to, be good enough to read defenses and get off your first look and, don't throw the ball up for grabs, and find a way that if somebody takes away the running game, that you can still win a game by, with your arm. And I don't know if anybody would say that, and, at least this year. Hey, like if the Eagles can't run the ball, you think Jalen can win the game with his arm? I don't know.
Well, I mean,
the answer is no.
if he called the team out for not being committed, I don't know how I feel about that call. I want to take the break here, a quick break, and I want to sort of not react on emotion. How I feel about that call out right now, right? I don't want to just like go splatting shit out, right? But like
after that performance, that's
that's
ballsy time to drop that. You know what I mean? I don't mind you dropping it, but ballsy time to drop it.
Yeah, ballsy time. Yeah, ballsy move, Cotton. You know what I mean? That's it. Okay. So we'll talk about that on the other side and our confidence level of this team not being a one and done at this point. All right, we got all that on the other side. We'll be right back. This has been tough.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom-reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My Nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more, with designs for every style and trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics, Hats.com can help you elevate your hat John. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at Hats.com to find your perfect size and style, and shipping and returns are free. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com.
Welcome back. Agree, disagree. Rivals, HUD Radio, Eagles post-game show. Hasn't been a good one. We've had better. Not shows, but games. Our poll, if you're just joining us, Jalen Hurts is the main reason for the Eagles' struggles. Agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Still comment in. Let us know how you're feeling about that side of things. And then Jalen Hurts comes out and says, a little cocky too, right? So he mentions he doesn't think the team is committed enough right now. When asked what he means, he says, commitment. I don't have a dictionary on me right now.
Wow. That's a fracture. There's your fracture. Somebody just asked a couple minutes ago. There's your fracture. That should echo loudly in the locker room. And I understand there's times to make statements so you can wake dudes up, but not after that performance. All right, buddy? Maybe you save that for Wednesday when it's, when the media sticks to the mic in your face on Monday or Wednesday or Thursday after practice. And you might want to say, I don't know if we're committed enough, I don't know if today, right now, wasn't the best time, buddy. And to be a smart ass either. Because that's a good rebuttal by the reporter. Elaborate, sir. Don't just throw it out there. Don't throw a little confetti bomb out there. All right? How about let's go. Be a man. Talk about it. Elaborate.
Yeah, I got a problem with it.
Big time.
I wanted the break to be able to think about it.
Yeah. I didn't like last week's actions. I'm gonna turn this over to you, brother. But I told you, and I know, I didn't like last week's run into the locker room. I didn't like that. You know what I mean? It's the difference between being a competitor and being a fucking baby. You know what I mean? So go shake Dak's hand. And I don't like tonight. So 2 bad characters back-to-back weeks for me. Bad character moves for me.
Yep. Everybody's got great character when you're winning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything's going well. So, I don't. You just stunk up the joint. I mean, what the hell did I miss tonight? I mean, what did I miss from him tonight? They talk about commitment. Like, I know commitment and play are 2 totally different things. But if you're blaming everybody else's lack of commitment, supposedly, you got a locker room full of 52 other guys that just aren't committed, right? And that's the reason for your bad play. Okay, we'll go with that. But come out, you're 10-4. You lost 3 games in a row. The sky hasn't fallen. You've stunk. Like I said earlier on the show, you haven't been good enough. You haven't even been close to 255. Anybody thinks that he's played like a franchise quarterback, I know there's bad QB play all around the league, but if that's what a franchise quarterback is, then we're all doomed. If this is, because this isn't it. This isn't it. Like, you can have a down year. You can't be top 3 or 4 in football in turnovers. Like, that's not down. That's bad. That's bad. That's a terrible year. It's not a good year, right? The best offense, too, is not turning the football over. That helps your defense the most. Just don't turn the football over. That kills defenses. Something he didn't do last year. He didn't turn the football over last year. Another reason we had tons of success. We had the same game tonight that we started out like last year. Up 10-0, feeling good, and then the offense didn't do anything. And then he won't talk to me about commitment.
Yeah,
commitment. Who's it on? Because your defense only gave up 20. I get it. It's a bad look. They went 92. I'm here. I'm with you guys. But at the end of the day, they gave up 20. So you had chances to nail on coffin. So who offensively wasn't committed enough to nail that coffin in?
And that's why it smells. Yeah, that's why it smells like a me comment on a week where you're not feeling well. You took a separate flight, so that smells like a me comment. You know what I mean? Like, look at me, and I understand that he got there, he played, all that good stuff. That's you get paid to play, but that smells like a me comment. Like, look at me, look what I did to get on the field. I don't know. There's one the right time. The timing, terrible timing.
How do you guys feel about that?
No, I mean to call out, to make that comment like right after the game, like, is just ridiculous. I mean, to be like commitment, like he didn't have commitment tonight. If he had commitment to the team tonight, you put the ball on your kicker's foot. You don't try and make that big play touchdown to Quez, that big play down the line. Commitment is having faith in your teammates and maybe Smitty's wide open in the middle. Throw the goddamn ball to him. I mean, I don't understand how you lose 3 in a row with the team around him and then say the team isn't committed. Maybe you're the one that's not committed.
Yeah, you're the one who got paid.
Mm-hmm.
You got 255 million reasons to take a year down. I'm not saying that's what he's doing. You know what I mean? I'm just making a point. Like, you got the most reason to say, I got, you know what I mean? I cannot get answered as much. I can be a little bit more of a book tour after the year I had, right? You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that's what he did. I don't believe that's his kind of character, but I also haven't seen him lose like this. That to go up in a presser and say things like he did tonight, right? Like, we haven't lost for that to get annoying, right? And for guys to start showing some true who they are, right? Because guys get pissed and it's not them, right? Now it's the team's commitment. So it's a deflect to me. It's a deflect. I would rather you stood up there and maybe he did, right? Took full ownership of how you played. I don't know if he did. If somebody listened to it, let us know.
And that's, like I said, perfect time coming off the Super Bowl, right? It was, we knew that he was going to get locked up. And he's young. I get all that. But if that's the time where if you want to get back there, right, and that you're taking a chunk of the payroll with you, that's time when you pull a Brady and you start deferring stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go as far as Otani. That's outrageous. All right. But we know what Otani was doing. Right. But Brady, he restructured his contract all the time. Right. He still was going to get paid. All right. But hey, let's keep some guys. Let's keep some key pieces, a la CJ Gardner. You know what I mean? Like, let's keep some key pieces that we need to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yep. And here we are. Now, what's your guys' confident now you hear those comments? How you confidence live 1 out of 10 that this team gets through whatever their first playoff game is?
Well, you surely don't want to see the Rams, but I think the Rams should end up at 6. So I don't think you have to worry about them. So I still think whoever's at 7, the Eagles are better than, even though they're leaking oil and they're not a very good football team right now. We'll see how they take care of business, see how they play in the next 3 weeks. But whoever that is at 7, whether it might be the Saints, Vikings, I don't know,
might be Seattle again.
Yeah, could be Seattle again. You're right. So I think you're okay with all 3 of those teams. I don't think you want anything to do with the Rams, and I don't think anybody would have said that a couple months ago. And the Eagles had beat them this year. Went to LA and it was a good game. All right, but they're rolling right now. So you don't want to see them as far as like a one and done. I don't. I think they got a lot of holes if they think they're gonna, win multiple playoff games. I still think they can win, the one playoff game as if they land as the 2.
I don't know if I'm on an island here by myself, but we better not lose the first home playoff game.
Yeah.
I mean, if we lose a home playoff game
to one of those 3 teams,
one of those 3 teams.
Yeah. Oh,
you got to have some serious conversations.
Yep, catastrophic, brother. No Cousins.
Well, this is why I'm having this conversation. It's too easy to say they're going to win 2. It's too easy to say because nobody going to sit here and be like, yeah. I got them going to an NFC title game again, right? Nobody's going to say that. So I wanted to be a little bit debatable here.
Yeah.
That's why I just said one, because those teams are like the team we played tonight. Right? They're like, hey, okay.
Yeah. That's why I give them one, because I don't think they win the next round. I don't know if they're better than the Cowboys. We saw them get killed yesterday, but that was all roads were pointing to that. In Buffalo after a monster Eagles win. But they won't have to play Tampa if they stay in the 4-speed. But Tampa's playing well. I mean, Tommy's boy Baker's slinging it. I'll tip my cap to him. Good for him. Should win, comeback player of the year, right? Because the other guy hasn't played. So I don't know I know they're going to give the award to the guy, and thank God he didn't die, but he hasn't played. I don't know how you can give the award to the guy. You know what I mean? I would say, without doing further research, it should be Baker's award. Guy's been awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Rudy, appreciate the super chat. I don't agree with you.
Yeah.
He said, to be honest, fellas, I don't want to see the playoffs. I always want to see the playoffs. It's a new season, right? And honestly, you don't know, right? You don't know. It's easy after 3 losses, and I'm right there to say I can see this team being one and done to our conversation, right? I could see it. I could also see them go rattle 2 in a row off the 2 seeds, hypothetically, with 2 at home, right? I could see that happen. So, as much as I can see the one way, I could also see the other way, because it's a brand new year. Who turns the lights on? You know what I mean? Who turns the lights on as a football team? You go in and everybody leaving you out the dead, right? Putting you out to the pasture, right? You're dead. And then all of a sudden, back, right? We've seen it. It doesn't always have to be the hottest team.
Oh, well, 3 roll jobs, then I don't think anybody's going to put them out the pasture. But I hear you. Right now they are. I'm saying, like, the next 3 weeks, 3 roll jobs, and it's back to being, peaches and rainbows, going into the playoffs, So I don't know if that gets you two wins. I don't know what that gets you. Yeah, but it should get you at least 1 home playoff win. Now you stub your toe the next 3 weeks, man.
I was just about to say. that. Step 1 is getting there, because if they are the 5 seed, I don't know. That's a whole other story. But if they get a home playoff game, I get it. They've looked horrendous the last 3 weeks. I don't care how bad they've looked. You better not lose. We're looking deep into the future right now. In a world where you get that home playoff game, I think the city's going to break if they lose that game.
Well, and you're going to get 2. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like, if you take care of business, like you said, then Dallas or the Rams have to come here. So you will hypothetically take your chances, of course, at home. You're always going to take your chances in a fight. Anybody can, anybody can land a haymaker and knock somebody out. But you rather do it at home.
If you lose a home playoff game to Minnesota, Seattle, one of those teams, you got to have serious conversation. If we lose a home playoff game to Dallas, we're all pissed off because it's a rivalry kind of thing, but you're not having those like hot seat kind of conversations. At least that's what I think. I don't
know how you can say keep it real, Bill. I mean, like, we keep it real all the time, buddy. I mean, I know the Eagles aren't very good right now. I'm an outsider looking in. Right, the Cowboys got the Dolphins, who are still playing for everything in the world. They got the Ravens, and I forget who their other one is. So it ain't cakewalk soup, right? If you're comparing the 2 schedules, come on, dude. Like, it's the Giants twice and the Cardinals. It's a fucking no-brainer. Come on, man. And the Eagles win the tiebreaker. So you tell me Dallas is going to win out, and the Eagles are going to lose once? Hey, maybe. It's the NFL. And then you're really talking like, wow, talk about backing into the playoffs if that happens.
Yeah, because then I don't even want to feel that. Yeah. Right. I don't even want to know that. It's so hard to say right after a loss. It's like, you almost can't wait for next week just to hopefully feel better. But it's still not. You know what I mean? Because we saw a lot in these 3 weeks. Now 3 more weeks, you play really good football. Right, and you show some signs of life in those types of ways, then maybe we're singing a different tune, right? But it all doesn't matter until the playoffs start now, because you are a playoff team, right? So now are they one and done? Can they rattle off two? Well, that time we'll find out over time if that's the case. But I don't think we're going to find out over the next 3 weeks who this football team really is, unless they lose out, right? You know what I mean? Or lose 2 out of 3. So right, and you see the divide that we weren't even thinking about seeing. Like that's the only way you really know what you're going to get come playoff time, right? Are we going to get the tough team that beat Buffalo? Or are we going to get the team that beat Miami, right? What team are we going to get? The team that beat Dallas the first, right? Like, what football team are we going to get this year? Or the team that went to Seattle and lost, right? You don't know. That's the great thing about this league, right? You don't know. So, if this locker room wants to divide, right, and they want to go down that route, that's on them, man. Right? That's on them. That's how I look at that. Like, that's the way you guys want to go down when you still got a lot to play for, right? Like, you still got a lot to play for. It's a tough loss. Not easy, right? Not an easy one to get over. But go get one Christmas Day, right? And then you can start working yourself back in, feeling good. That's all. You start working yourself back in again, a little kumbaya in the locker room again.
Yeah, and they don't have the Ravens, so I apologize. But still, 2 out of 3 at home. They got to go to Miami. They have the Lions, not an easy game. And they do have the Commanders on the road. All right, so I'm sorry. So they got one home game, but that's still the Eagles still have a better, an easier last 3 games than that.
And the funny part of the whole thing is that if this does work out and if we win the games we're supposed to win, like the Giants twice in Arizona, and we rally off 2 home playoff wins, and all these people are talking right now to be the same people that are like Brock Purdy stinks, and then they're gonna have all that confidence going to San Francisco and NFC title game. In a world where that does happen, I'm not predicting it to happen, but it's just funny how all this stuff ends up working out all the time.
Yeah,
always. Yeah, what have you done for me lately? Of course.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I'm gonna need a flip of the switch to start feeling that way.
Yeah, no, I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying in that hypothetical world.
Yeah, that world's great. That's why sports are great, right?
I'm with
it. That's why I love it. That's why I love it at times. You could be totally out on a team and a player or players, and they rally themselves back into your good gracious, right? And that's all Jalen's got to do. You go win 2 playoff games, and you show you turn it up a notch. Hey, we're all gooch here. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna be complaining here. JM says the offense failed to put up 20 points 3 straight weeks. That's why last week's poll question was, who do the offense is more to blame than the defense on Wednesday night. And that's why I was in agree all day, because they haven't been the same offense they were last year.
Yeah,
so doesn't mean that defense has been good. We know the defense isn't good. That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. I know who they are. Right? I also thought I knew what this offense was. I thought I knew what quarterback was. I thought I knew what a lot of stuff was. I expect to walk into 30. Every prediction we give for the shows, right? I gave 31-21 because that's what I thought we could. I said it. I didn't think they were going to move, even with Geno. I just had a feeling that we were going to step up a little bit defensively tonight, right? Like a little pride game, and you get a little bit more of a fight, right? And we saw bits and pieces of that at times, right? But I had the offense scoring 31, right? Not 17. That's a big difference. So I'm going to sit here and put all blame on the defense? No, they play a part in this, but we know that. We knew it going in. When's the offense going to live up?
Yeah, it doesn't matter who they play. They got 3 weeks, 3 weeks to fix things and start playing, better football. And then, like you said, when you get in, playoffs, are a whole new animal, one way or the other. Whether you're leaking oil or you're playing at your best football, it's still the slate is clean. The slate is wiped clean. So that's and as the defending NFC champs, you should have that swagger, but know very well that you're the underdog. I mean, that's reality. The 49ers are awesome. All right. And I know people don't want to admit that. right? And, people hate Shanahan, and I get that. I'm not saying
I hate Shanahan.
I know. I'm not. I'm not defending him. I'm saying, right? But if if he's able to hoist it, he gets that stink off, and then that goes away. You know what I mean? So, the people that hate him like Tom are continuing to root against that, right? So they have, they can use that chip, which
right.
Which I get.
Doesn't
but
look like it with that roster.
But they're awesome, and that's what I'm saying. And to all the people that just don't have eyes, they want to keep saying that, Purdy's a game manager, he's Trent Dilfer, get the fuck out of here. He's leading the league. He's got the highest completion percentage of 20 plus throws, right? 63%, leading the league, right? Because everybody wants to tell me it's 5-yard slants and dink and dunk, and he's just getting his hands in the playmakers, and rightfully so. He does do that as well, but it's 63% on throws, 20 plus yard throws.
Yeah, he's done a great job. I don't call any of it game managing.
Yeah, no, I know.
I don't care how much talent you have around you, right? You still got to go play great. And he has, even with the skill position and McCaffrey, right? He's been phenomenal. And that defense is the best in football, right? And you go out and the rich get richer, and you go and you get a Javon Hargrave in the offseason from us. Obviously, we see that loss at times, right? And then you go out and Chase Young at the deadline. So, it's hard to say, even with you got Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick. That sounds like amateur hour. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, when you say Bosa and Chase Young, and then you say Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick, I feel like you want to laugh a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, that's a funny joke that those two guys are comparable to the other two guys, right? Hassan obviously is, but man, you saw it again tonight. Right? See, nobody watches enough. Not you guys, like the public per se, in my opinion, right? The real junkies. They ran the football his way a ton tonight. Why? Because he don't want to get dirty in there. You know what I mean? That's not his style, and that's okay. So there's a lot of elite pass rushers that you're not going to see take on a block and shed them and make a big play. It's not his style, right? But you saw it a little bit tonight.
Micah Parsons yesterday, same thing.
Micah's the same way. What do you do to great pass rushers that want to get up the field quick? You run their way. And I think teams have done a really good job of that versus a guy like Josh Sweat and a guy like Hassan Reddick, who really first moves up the field. You know what I mean, guys? Like, they're real up the field guys. So, you're seeing it. I just laugh. I sit back and laugh because, again, you see it. Like, if you're a good coordinator, like a guy like Jim Schwartz, and you get a defense like Cleveland, now you're elite. You know what I mean? So, like, it does still take two to tango here. Again, I didn't think they were that bad tonight. Like, they were bad on that.
Yeah, and when you get old on defense, like offense, you can get exposed too when you get old. Don't get me wrong, but on defense, when you get old, that's where it's so glaring, And weeks ago, I was saying because of the linebacker room that they had, that Shaq Leonard was a must, and I agree with that, and he was. Right, but now you see the last couple of weeks why he was released. You know what I mean? Like a Colts team that's in playoff contention. The guy was the face of their franchise. There's a reason why guys get cut. You know what I mean? Yeah. And sometimes it's financial, but when you're banged up and
this is what we call a combo guard.
Yeah, you can't play anymore. Yeah.
It's two reasons why. One, you can't play anymore, and two, they don't want to pay it. Yeah. PJ Ray, I couldn't agree with this comment more. I mean, Derek Barnett stopped the run at a high rate. Nobody gave him credit for that. He was really good against the run. The penalty shit was off the charts, right? But then a big sack for Houston yesterday, right? Big sack for Houston yesterday. I don't know why we're just moving on from the ends. Like when did this front wasn't that deep. The ends weren't that deep. I don't know where they thought, who the fuck they think they are. This is where Howie gets cute. And I want to lose my mind, right? Like, why are you moving on from him right now? Like, I know his contract might be up at the end of the year, but like, we're doing it for what? A fourth or a fifth? Like, that's what we're moving on from him for? Are we trying to win? Who's his backup? Who's taking snaps at that? Is that Josh Sweat or Hassan going over there? Or maybe once in a great while, you see Milton Williams lined up out there, right? Who's taking those snaps? So like, I don't know why a team that prides himself up front as much as we do are trading goddamn D ends. I don't care if it goes all sides all the time. He want to get his fucking beak wet? Because I got a bunch of guys on defense that don't want to get their beak wet. And that's why I'll take a guy like Sidney Brown running around missing 100 tackles. At least you're trying to get your beak wet. You know what I mean? I got James Bradberry running away from Kenneth Walker or DK Metcalf on the sideline, right? Like you're scared to get run over by him. So come on, guys. You know what I mean? Like I just want guys. Well, we have Nolan Smith. That's right. You know, and he's 238 pounds. So, you know, how good is he against the run? How good?
He played pretty well.
Yeah, he got a goddamn stinger, Luke. And he's
yeah. I was just about to say.
You know what I mean? He's at the game. He gets his beat by one time. He's too freaking frail. And see ya. I'm joking, but you know,
I was just about to say that. But the other thing is that the run defense hasn't been good all year. And don't give me the stat that they were the best run defense at what was it, like week 6 or 8 or something like that. Then they were the best. That was only because the most efficient way to go down the field against us was going down the middle of the field because we couldn't cover a damn cone. No one was running the ball against us. We must have had the least, attempted rushes against us in the entire NFL. The run defense was never good. The linebackers were missing tackles all year. We missed Zach Cunningham today, and that's saying a bunch because I don't even think he's all that damn good. And Shaq Leonard, my God, I was excited to get him. He looked lost. I mean, he looked horrendous. Really bad. Like, I was shocked to see how bad he was. He looked worse than Moreau. When we signed him, and I believe he signed on like a Wednesday, and we came out and we recorded it on that Monday. I said I was excited for him to come in, not because I thought he'd be great, was because I thought he'd be the best guy in the room. That's not even the case. He is maybe our third best guy. He is horrendous in a room full of guys that is a bunch of question marks. Zach Cunningham's probably our best guy, then Moreau, I guess. And the Kobe Dean can't stay on the field for 2 plays. And then I don't even know. That position's a mess. But it's always been a mess, and we've always won. The Super Bowl year, Nigel Bradham wasn't some stud linebacker. TJ Edwards was good, but he got clearly overpaid, it seems. So you got to figure out ways to win. You do.
Yeah, you're right. Jacob says Nolan Smith, Ringo, and Brown. At least they bring it. They aren't afraid of contact. No, that's true. Some of the younger guys, are definitely, trying to wet their beak a little bit more, obviously, than the older guys. But I don't know. It's just a team reason, guys. Matt says, have you guys watched a team that looked this bad at the end of the season and saw success in the playoffs? I feel like it's happened. I just don't, I don't know, right? Like on top of my head. But it's a great point because is it always the hot team? No, it's not necessarily always the hot team, right? Because you still have 3 weeks to play damn good football. It's not like you're going in tomorrow. Like you're going in tomorrow, Matt? I don't know, right? You going in this Sunday and you got a playoff game? We're talking about commitment.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a little worried.
No, you're right. And if this was, week 16, 17, and 18, then absolutely not. I mean, they get absolutely doored next week in the playoffs.
Yeah, especially when we're talking about commitment. You can say that with the Giants coming up. Sorry, Jordan.
No,
but
I totally understand.
Well, at least you better be able to say that. I don't know.
I see PJ's. Don't get me wrong, PJ's comment. I miss TJ Edwards a bunch. He just got TJ Edwards just might have gotten overpaid a bit because it's in a packed linebacker room in Chicago. But I would go back and pay him a boatload right now. We miss him a bunch right now, no doubt.
Well, who you copy, and I'm not saying to copy this because you just went to a Super Bowl, right? So I'm not saying you got to copy everybody's blueprint. But I mean, look how Baltimore's set up. You defensively. I'm not talking about offensively, right? Offensively, you have similarities then in a way, and styles of play. But defensively, they're set up the middle, man. I mean, you look at their linebacking core. Not only did you have Patrick Queen, but then you weren't shy. Ronaldo Smith's available or
Roquan.
What am I saying? Either way,
yeah. Somebody, Mr. Smith is pretty good.
Mr. Smith is delicious, and I begged for him here. And not only me, a lot of people in this chat did as well. Like, why are you not handling that guy? Like, what are you? You too good for Roquan Smith? Because you got to watch him play one time in Chicago and say, oh, that guy's all over the goddamn field. You look at San Francisco, right? How are these organizations built, right? Yes, we take pride in the D tackle position. That's where it starts, Howie. That's a great start because that's numero uno on how you build it out, right? Then I got to say, okay, who are my two linebackers? And then I got to take some pride in the safety position a little bit, right? Because when this organization has done this, they've won. So when you build up front and then you back it with guys who are really good football players, like a TJ Edwards, right? A Kaiser White, all right? An Epps who just was, sound tackler, right? We take it for granted. Just a good open field tackler. Omar Epps was. Okay? And then you back with a CJ. Like, none of those guys are the best ever, right? But they're really good football players. I mean, CJ, a little higher of a level, obviously. But all four of those guys, I said it a million times, you couldn't lose all four. You couldn't afford to lose all fucking four. And what does he do? He loses all four. Because what? You pay $255. $255. So $255 then, I'll say it again as we close this bitch out. Then $250, because I get heated when this time of night. $255 then, gotta manage that shit. 20 goddamn points. And I get it. I'm making memes about Bradberry too. I get it. I'm right with y'all. But I'm also watch other quarterbacks here that were really good. Not many throughout my lifetime, honestly. Because you had McNabb for so long, and then it was like and then you had Carson, and you felt like, oh, here it is. Here's the savior. Right? So it's really not that many. But I'll just use Donovan. I'll just use goddamn 5. You gave 5 to DeVonta Smith and A.J. Brown? Huh. And we thought he was bad. People say, oh, he's not accurate. Not accurate. Dude, he makes Donovan McNabb looks like a freaking first ballot Hall of Famer to Jalen Hurts. I'm sorry to break the news to the people. At this point in their careers, looks like a top a first ballot Hall of Famer to compare to Jalen Hurts. And we smoked them. Smoked them. Rightfully so. Rightfully so when you look at the end result. Right? But not throughout it like he got it.
I mean, to your point, though, the Ravens, they haven't had anything to show for it yet, but, they're just a great organization because they don't miss. They do not miss.
The Ravens?
The Ravens do not miss in the draft, right? And we know we've given Howie credit the last couple of years because it's become Georgia Professional University, and I get that. I get that. But how many guys can you have up front? I don't think we talk enough about 2021, the 2022 draft, right? Jordan Davis, a monster of a man. I'm not ripping the guy. You got 1 million D tackles. The next pick after him is fantastic and is awesome. Kyle Hamilton is awesome for the Ravens, a game changer. And on a defense with all those great players, he is fantastic. You think the Eagles can use a guy back there like that?
No, absolutely. And
my goodness,
I'm not going to say I was wrong draft night, but I was off, right? Like I was off on my assessment. But at the time, I feel like on that draft night, we weren't. But then you had a guy in the house, right? Sleeps. Then to compound it, you got a fucking guy in the house. What do we do? He's sitting right in the house. I mean, he's the reason your defense took the ball over to freaking at a great rate last year. And we're just saying, it's too much. What are we doing? You got to value stuff. You got to value stuff. Like, I'm keeping Slay and Bradberry. Are you out of your goddamn mind? I'd rather go out there because you got to think about football for a second. It's easier for a corner as a rookie to play in this league than it is for a safety to play in this league as a rookie. As a rookie, right? So when you're trying to still win now, right? I got to say to myself, you two can go, Bradberry and Slay. Take a walk, dude. Take a walk, all right? I'm not giving you any more money. You want to take hometown discounts? Stick around? Sure. Whatever. Cheap deals. So I can bring the band back together, right? That's the only way I do it. But if not, I say, and I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking, because I said it last year, I don't sign those two. I bring back Gardner Johnson, and I bring back TJ Edwards. I go that route then. What defense is better? I'll tell you. Don't tell me he's hurt because you don't know. He might be great here. You don't know. We don't know that. We don't have that crystal ball, so I ain't playing that shit. And he's coming back, I think, next week if Don's still here. Okay?
Like you said, he was a ball hawk, all right? So when the Eagles were really, really, really good on defense, obviously, Dawkins is a Hall of Famer, not comparing him to anybody. I'm just saying. All right, not only a guy that lays the wood, but a guy that's a ball hawk. All right, he's in a league of his own, Dawkins. I mean, amazing, right? But then you got a guy like Asante Samuel. Don't like to mix it up. Ball hawk, all right? C.J. Gardner, all right? He would lay the wood, but he was a ball hawk, all right?
Yep.
Found a way to lead the league in interceptions, all right? You got to keep those guys around. They don't grow on trees. Hello?
No, and then you traded a pick for him, right? Like, you traded stuff to get him. Not saying that's the end all be all, right? I don't care about that, but you traded picks to get him. Like, guys I trade picks to get, I sort of want to keep in-house too, especially when that pick paid off, right? Like, it's like, oh, well, that's well worth the money, right? Then even more of a reason I want to keep that guy.
And when you're a contending team, and when I hear stuff in the offseason, like we have to win now, I get it. We build in the trenches. I'm with it. And I'm not here to say that the players we drafted won't go on to have good careers. I'm not. But at the same time, draft picks in the NFL are completely inflated when it comes to trading for star players. I don't remember what the hell we traded for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Whatever it was worth it. I think we traded like a 5th-round pick for DeAndre Swift, and it's crazy what you can get for draft picks now in the NFL, especially with guys who want out. I'm looking at it right now. You drafted a 3rd-round pick on Tyler Steen, who has suited up a few times this year. Again, not to say he's not going to have a good career, but how great would it be to have a guy in like Buda Baker right now? That would be fantastic. A guy who, had talks in the offseason. You flirted about wanting to come here. He wanted to be out or whatever. No move made whatsoever.
Well, then you go Kevin Byard.
I get that, but earlier on, and then who knows? Then you have assets still to get by. You could have both, or maybe you save that asset later in the year, and maybe you trade for a linebacker or something else. It just gives you more option. Another thing is, I'm looking down here, and I get it. He has a lot of fanboys, and not to say he won't maybe be a backup, or maybe who knows? He wishes he'll be a starter someday. A 6th-round pick will get you something. And you wasted it on a quarterback who probably won't even play in McKee, who's your 3rd stringer right now. And we all know damn well they're going to sign another guy. Maybe they bring back Mariota. Maybe they bring back someone. This guy's never going to see the field either. So what are you wasting these picks for when you need help now? Don't tell me when you're not going to do that, and then in the same breath tell me we need to win right now. I don't need the backup 3rd-string offensive lineman now. And even Nolan Smith, I think he's going to be a very good NFL player. But he ain't shit right now for me. He's not doing anything for me right now. He's barely playing. He's barely suiting up.
No, what was that, 2nd-round pick, right?
That's a 1st-round pick.
Oh, you late first. And
again, he could be a great NFL player. I'm not saying he's dog shit. I'm not saying anything like that. Where's the developmental?
He's a developmental guy. He's high. He's not high risk, but it's high upside. You're hoping you can tap in the upside, but year one, to your point, Luke, is you're not going to get a lot year one if you get anything. Right now, they're trying to force him on the field, right? And that's why they traded Barnett, to try to get him snaps and get him on the field. And I get that stuff, but I don't want to say it's a bad pick yet, right? I don't want to go that route yet, right? But with to Luke's point, when you're in win now mode, is there a corner? Right now, you didn't need one maybe at that time. Is there a safety, though? Is there a linebacker? That's why they're fucking scared. Like, what are you scared? You just went home, Howie. You drafted Jalen Carter. You got arguably a top 3 pick in the draft, or 5, right? That kind of game changer. So immediately after that, go to a need. Go to a guy who can play day 1 again. Go find another guy who can play day 1, and you have room for that guy, right, guys? Go find that guy.
How about the 49ers right now? I just looked it up. They didn't pick last year. This past draft, they didn't pick till round 3. That's a team going in saying we are going all in right now.
Well, they got warts too, right? They got warts too because they traded up a bunch.
When you're good, you take your shot and you don't rebuild, you reload. And that's what great organizations do. All right. So there's no reason, to your point, to take 3rd-string linemen because some of your linemen are getting old, right? You take a guy like Jordan Davis. I understand, the Green Mile. He's a mountain of a man, all right? And he very well might have an amazing career. I get that, right? But there's other needs on the board there.
Yeah, and don't don't draft a third-string quarterback in the 6th round. Trade that. That's a waste of a pick. Because if Jalen Hurts gets hurt, I know we're giving him a lot of shit right now. We got no shot. So that is a wasted pick in its own. How about Steen? He could develop, and they want to, and he'll eventually be a starter. That's great. If I believe he's a tackle who transferring to play guard. If Lane Johnson gets hurt, we all know that story. So we're screwed anyway. Like, use this for something that you can get a starter right now. Now.
Well, you look at Denver. You look at, not saying anything about Denver, but after the Steen pick, we went Steen, then Sidney Brown, right, guys? But just name like Drew Sanders went next, the linebacker from Arkansas. I'm just trying to look like what else.
Like when you're getting late, like and you're just reading stuff to us, which we appreciate.
Just trying to tell you.
It's not a shot at you. I'm just saying when you get later, there's going to be steals. So I wouldn't, I don't look back and try to crush them later in the rounds. You know what I mean? Like in the first round, you got to hit. You got to hit.
Yeah, and the next pick,
those first 2 rounds, you got to hit.
That next pick in round 2, right? Because we were.
And you got to hit positionally. You don't just got to hit. Like I said, Jordan Davis, might have an awesome career, and I know he does special things, right? But you got to hit positionally, right? Kyle Hamilton's right there.
And
Wentz if you go to last year. Go to last year real quick, Luke.
Completely different. Wentz getting hurt's completely different because they brought in a veteran, which is what all these smart teams do now, including us. You're not relying on a 6th-round rookie to take you to a Super Bowl and pick your team up and win a Super Bowl. Nick Foles is a veteran. Chad Henne's a veteran. Marcus Mariota's a vet. That's what teams do. You don't draft a 6th-round pick to say, hey, if our team gets hurt, this guy out of North Dakota State or whatever the hell he's from is going to pick us up and win 3 road playoff games, and we're going to win no, come on. That's totally
I will say this, like Nolan Smith went 30. You want to talk about this year, right? You want to go to round 2. The only other argument you probably could make is that first pick in round 2 was Joey Porter Jr., right? So like that's, if you want to go there, then I'll go there. Like, okay, there's a young corner.
I'm a pedigree guy. I'm a pedigree guy too.
Yeah, you would love to have too. So, now Nolan Smith can end up being a double-digit sack guy for the next 5 years for all we know, right? But that's not the conversation we're having. We're having, hey, I'm not looking for the guy that might be great in 2 or 3 years from now in that first round. I'm looking for that impact now. Now, same thing can be said about Jordan Davis, right? It really wasn't an impact year 1, starting to show a little bit of an impact year 2, where Kyle Hamilton already has that impact. Right. So, Brian Branch is another guy I love too. Not just saying me. I don't,
listen, it's our biggest, it's our biggest gripe. What's our biggest gripe with the Sixers, right? Your window is closing, right? You have the best player in the world right now, right? And you have to capitalize on that, right? So you have to do whatever you have to do. You have to look under every rock. You have to cash in every favor. You have to find blackmail on other GMs. You have to find a way to get this guy another guy because he's out of his mind right now, right? And we have to cash this ticket in. We have to cash this ticket in.
Let's remember this conversation right now because I'm looking at what we have. We have 2 seconds and 3 fifths. So let's pray that maybe a trade's made for a linebacker or something like that for next season.
Listen, I will say this. As much as I've crushed him over the years, and rightfully so, he has listened. So we take that for what it is, right? Like when we beg for like guys that like we actually know, right? And have heard of, he's done a better job of going and getting those types of players. Now we've been begging for certain positions, right? And certain things. He's usually done, to his credit, he's done a good job of listening to us. Does he listen again? I don't know, but this season's also not over yet.
No, but you're right. I mean, you miss on Buddha, and you try with Kevin Baird, who's he's a good safety. There's no knocking him. He's a little long in the tooth as well.
Yeah,
you'd love to have Buddha Baker. That guy's an impact guy. I mean, so
we don't have many of those.
I'm with Luke on that one. I mean, that you go you go all in there.
Well, when you got an opportunity to get impact guys, like you just said,
you go all in with bullets there.
What do you want? What do you want? A fourth? Did you just say a fourth? What? Okay, I'll give you 2 of them. Right? You know what I mean? Like What do you want, a third? I'll give you a third. See it, because I'm making that guy. You know what I mean? Like, if the contract's an issue, well, we're going to figure that side of it out, right? But I thought Howie was the cap wizard. So figure it the hell out, cap wizard. Khalid, thanks for the super chat, brother. He said, funny. He goes, funny how this all goes all back to Howie. It always ends up getting there. You know, you do a long enough show after 3 losses, you'll find your way there. Because his holes are going to show too. But again, he just paid somebody $255 to mask some of that shit.
He didn't have to, but he didn't have to.
He didn't have to.
No, but I mean,
I said that.
But I didn't.
Nobody wants to
like,
listen
I don't mean like.
I got a lot of heat for that.
I know that the strike while the iron's hot and all that good stuff.
Yep, I got a lot of heat.
You got a guy under contract. You don't have to, right? You went in premature and try to keep a guy happy. I guess. I don't. What'd you do it for?
Yep. What I said last year, and I got tons of heat for it. Why do you got to sign him right now? Sign him halfway through the year. Leave the carrot. Leave the carrot, babe. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like, why do I got to pay? I don't got to pay him right now. Got another year. We'll figure that out. We'll get to that. He's not going to walk out my building without a deal. You know what I mean? That's as simple as that. You got to have enough confidence in yourself organizationally. Say, well, listen, I understand it. I understand that, I could be taking it because you're playing the lottery, right? You're playing the lottery. And I know I could be burned and he'd come out and have an MVP season and I'm paying way more than I thought I was, right? I understand that. But I also understand that the guy had one great year.
But you're right.
He had one great year.
But that's the market. Like, even if he still played at last year's level, the market is what the market is. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get more. Like, we know the Browns threw stupid money at Massage Boy, but like, you're going to get the same money as Lamar. Lamar's an MVP. That's say what you want about him. You know what I mean? Like, that's an elite guy right there. So you're going to get the same amount. Like, whether he had another repeat year, it was going to be in the same ballpark anyway. You know what I mean? Like, give or take 20 million. You know what I mean? Like, it was never going to get to a Tani money.
Yeah.
Like,
no, you're right.
Like, so.
No, you're right. And that's why you didn't need to do it.
There was no reason to
panic. Remember?
There was no reason to panic.
How much shit did I get last year for saying that?
Sure. Well, that's people say, oh, he gets hurt. Listen, this is the game. Like, you play on your rookie contract, you know what I mean? And not to switch sports, you know what I mean? But Albert Pujols played 10 years, all right, for no money, all right? And then people wanted to kill him for all the money he made, in Anaheim. He deserved every penny of that.
It was owed to him.
Made no money for 10 years. He was the best player in baseball. Not named Hot Dog Neck.
Yep, Sean, it's a hot take comment. That was hot take last year, and seeming to maybe be a little bit true, but we'll see how the season plays out. All right, boys. You guys got anything else before we get out of here?
Mm-mm.
Great show. Sad show. Well, both shows will see it. Well, you guys won't see us next week. It's Christmas. Forgot it's Christmas.
Yeah.
So
Monday.
Yeah.
4:30.
You might just see a video from me. You might just see a video. I might just be a video post game. We stink. Tommy Collins carved us up. Yo, what up, Don?
I mean, everybody's asleep. I mean, we could sneakily pop on around 11.
See you late.
When Santa leaves, we could sneakily pop on. I mean, that's not a problem. After the Niners Ravens, we can do a little talk.
Yeah, we probably should. Because it'll be after a win. So, expected. But I also said that this week. So I also guarantee. Well, I said if the teams who we think they are, they win this football game.
Sure.
Geno Smith, Drew Lock didn't matter to me. Go win a football game. When you find out it's Drew Lock, you're like, oh, you better go win a football game, and they didn't. So it is what it is. So listen, we love you all. We can't thank you enough for the million comments, all the super chats, 9 of them tonight. That's a lot. That's a lot. Kyle Cap, D Slayer, Mr. Rudy Poo, JM, Khalib. It was Written King, the Retro, bro. All you guys on the super chats, we appreciate you. What? Now AJ just said Hurts doesn't need to make excuses that he's not making excuses. What? The locker room is on. What does that mean? Say that again, Bill.
I think Bill, his other comment was he was saying that Hurts was alluding to AJ gets pitching to the coach about something. So he was saying the relationship has been downhill since the argument. That's what said earlier. So I'm sure it's something to do with that.
Well, he can. This is what I don't understand. This shit's hitting the fan. Hurts literally just said the team needs to trust the other opportunities that are on the field and not commit to a certain play.
You can't miss guys that are wide open either, Jalen.
Well, like he's the one throwing it. I don't know. There's a lot going on here, though. Get your popcorn out. This will be a fun week. Can't wait to see who's fired this week. For the rivals, for Agree to Disagree, we love you. We appreciate you. Merry Christmas, everybody. I'll see you Wednesday night, sadly, having to talk about this one. And, of course, you think, like, okay, Sixers got a layup line tonight. It wasn't. So 0 for 2 here in Philly, but it will go on. So we'll see you soon. For Jordan, Luke, Sweeps, I'm Tom.
Merry Christmas,
Everybody
Happy New Year. It falls, Sunday falls on that. It falls on the on our show days. So one of those years.
Yep, both.
Yep.
So we're out.
Peace
Later,
out.
everybody.